Our top focus on Daily Mirror. That agencies are misused by the Modi government as a political tool is an often repeated charge by the opposition. Be it the Congress, the TMC, the BRS or the others. The government has always maintained that agencies are independent and will probe wrongdoing irrespective of who the wrongdoer is. They're just doing their job, says the government about agencies. Fine, all that is fine. But what explains why the CBI would want to investigate the school and college fee of a political rival's daughter? Well, it's happened in Karnataka. Karnataka Congress Chief D K Shivakumar has been summoned once again by the Enforcement Directorate. He has been asked to appear before the agency on February 22nd in connection to the National Herald case. This will be the third time that Mr. Shivakumar is being questioned by the ED. He was questioned twice last year along with his brother and Lok Sabha MP DK Suresh. Now, Mr. Shivakumar says notices are even being issued over his daughter's unpaid fee and exams. He's asking why the opposition leaders are repeatedly targeted by central agencies while the government's favorite partners amass crores of wealth. Listen in.
ದಿನ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ನನ್ನ ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗೆ ಲೆಟರ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ CBIನವರು ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಫೀಸು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೇನೇನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವೇ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಹೆರಾಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬರೋದು ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. 22ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಬಂದು ಹಾಜರಾಗಬೇಕು ಇಡಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು? ಪ್ರಜಾ ಧ್ವನಿ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ನಡೆಸಲು ಇಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಲು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದು, ರೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. 10,000 ಕೋಟಿ ಯಾರು ಮುಳುಗಿಸಿ 10,000 ಕೋಟಿ ಯಾರು ಯಾವ ಇಡಿ.
Now, there are two things to note here. Number one, it's election season in Karnataka. The assembly polls are expected to be held before May 2023. The Congress is well placed to challenge the BJP amidst all the corruption allegations and the reservation protests. There are corruption charges directly on the Chief Minister of the state. And on cue, the ED summons the Congress state party chief and even questions him about his daughter's college and school fee. Number two, misuse of agencies has been a common grievance of all opposition parties. The TMC has said so, along with the CPM, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BRS. Surely all these political parties cannot be wrong at the same time. Now, coming back to DK Shivakumar, this isn't the only case he's being investigated for. He was arrested by the ED in 2019 for another money laundering charge. In October that year, he was granted bail by the Delhi High Court. So is this another case of weaponizing central agencies, or is there merit to these endless round of summons? The Prime Minister spoke on the floor of the House today. He spoke for almost 90 minutes, and the misuse of agencies charge is also something he addressed in these 90 minutes. He says the ED has done what even voters of India could not do, which is unite the opposition. Listen in.
सदन में भ्रष्टाचार की जांच करने वाली एजेंसियों के बारे में बहुत कुछ कहा गया और मैंने देखा कि बहुत सारे विपक्ष के लोग इस विषय में सूर मिला रहे थे। मिले मेरा तेरा सूर। आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, मुझे लगता था देश की जनता देश के चुनाव के नतीजे ऐसे लोगों को जरूर एक मंच पर लाएंगे, लेकिन वो तो हुआ नहीं। लेकिन इन लोगों ने ईडी का धन्यवाद करना चाहिए कि ईडी के कारण ये लोग एक मंच पे आए हैं। ईडी ने एक लोगों को एक मंच पे ला दिया है।
Let me go across to our guests who are joining us this evening for a very quick chat. Dr. Narendra Rangappa is spokesperson of the BJP. Sanket Yenagi is spokesperson of the Congress Party. ML Sharma is a former special director of the CBI. And Brijesh Kalappa is a senior Aam Aadmi Party leader, also a senior advocate. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Rangappa, I'm going to start with you. All right, there are charges of money laundering and corruption against Mr. DK Shivakumar. But pray help me understand why a notice needs to be sent over his daughter's school and college fee. Isn't that a bit excessive?
See, let me give you some information about this case, which was lodged in 2019 by the Income Tax Department against tax evasion and hawala transactions. So, Mrs. Aishwarya Kumar, DK's daughter, visited Singapore with her dad for a foreign investment trip. In the trip, the IT has come across a malacity of 429 crores. And there is also a disproportionate assessed case of 74.39 crores. So, she has also declared an asset of 108 crores and she is an income tax assessee. So, against this background, investigations have been going on since 2019. And there was one more incident regarding the donations to the National Herald case that DK and his institute have given. So, the court has asked about the income and outcome of the income tax assessee. So, what is wrong in that? If we have any detail, give it to them. If you don't have it, don't give it to them. What is wrong in that?
Hey, Dr. Rangappa, okay, I'm glad you put out the history of the case. Thank you very much for that. I'm asking you, all right, there are ED investigations and CBI investigations against DK Shivakumar. But why investigate the school fee of his daughter? And why send a notice for the school fee and the college fee of his daughter is what I'm asking you. Isn't that petty? Many people will listen to the news and say, why are they behaving in such a petty manner?
See, there must be some valid reason why the ED or the CBI asked for it. There must be some valid reason. See, Mrs. Aishwarya is the director of the Education Institute run by Mr. DKS. She is an income tax assessee. She is paid income tax. There are cases pending against her regarding income tax. So if she is questioned, the whole idea of making such a hue and cry in public is to gain sympathy and to gain pity by the public during the election. That is the only reason. Let us see what exactly the notice says to Shivakumar. What exactly it says. Is it twisting facts?
Okay, let me... I don't know whether he's twisting facts, but what I do know is what he has said on record. And what he has said on record is every second day I'm getting a notice. In fact, I even have a notice on my daughter's school and college fee. And I have furnished all details that I needed to the CBI. So that is the statement that he has said on record. But Sanket Yenagi, just a minute, Sanket Yenagi, what the BJP spokesperson is saying is that there are two separate cases that are being investigated against Mr. DK Shivakumar. And if in that course of investigations, which includes one for IR tax evasion, if we are asking for details about your daughter's school fee or college fee, what is the harm in that? If everything is above board, just furnish it and get away with it. Why create such a hue and cry about it?
For taking me a part of this discussion. So there is a saying in Sanskrit that when one's doom approaches, the mind and intelligence work perversely. Vinashakale viparita buddhi. So BJP is already tasting its failure, its degradation because of the corruption charges. The charges of corruption are against the BJP government. 40% commission charges are against the BJP MLAs and ministers, against the present CM about the Bitcoin. So lot many corruption charges are against the BJP government. But the notice is served on Mr. DK Shivakumar's daughter, DK Shivakumar, and also the Congress leaders who are busy in campaigning. BJP has already acknowledged its failure by using the ED and CBI and such other agencies in order to curtail the campaigning of the other opposition leaders. So be it anything else, but one thing is very clear. So we accept the BJP's failure the moment the departments like ED, IT, CBI are approaching us. We are gaining more and more confidence of winning elections because it can only be used by the BJP in order to cover its failure. We are not afraid of these things. We are getting more confidence. We are getting more anxiety to win elections. And the BJP's failure through the ED, through the CBI, through other departments like IT is an overwhelming response to us. And that is what the people are watching. And there is no one in the BJP circle who has been served with the notice, which itself makes it clear that all is not well with the departments, all is not well with the BJP. BJP
Mr.
has
Rangappa, would you want to respond to that? Would you want to respond to that? Everyone who is in, it is often said by the opposition that even if you are the most corrupt leader of the opposition, if you join the BJP, then it is like having a dip in Ma Ganga. Sare paap dhul jate hain suddenly. Suddenly the ED and the CBI forget all about you and all your paps. But if you are in the opposition, God save you.
Are we trying to learn about honesty from a Congress party? A party miffed in correction? A to Z, corruption in every field, and they have been reduced to 40 seats by the public of India. And I invite my friend to give me any evidence that he has got against anybody whom the IT or ED has not taken into consideration. We will definitely forward it to them because ED can take a suo motu action, and if you can initiate that action, why can't you? Show me the list. Give me some names. You can't do that. You simply go on saying and making allegations and don't provide any proof or evidence.
There are so many institutions
except for allegations, there is no proof you can provide. No iota of evidence has been provided. Only oral allegations have been made.
No, sir, I want to ask you, now give me a minute. Did Mr. Rangappa, did the BJP provide the ED with proof before it started its investigation against Congress leaders? If not, why are you asking the Congress to provide proof to the ED or the CBI to begin investigations? What sort of logic is this, sir?
This income tax department has filed the FIR against Mr. Shivakumar, not BJP. They have found out certain malices and fallacies in the IT returns of Mr. D K Shivakumar between 13 and 18, nearly 74.9 crores. Regarding that, this case is going on. It is not a BJP complaint. It is a complaint by the income tax department. I'm really surprised that our friends are not aware of this.
Mr. Yanagi.
Yes. First, there are CBI charges against Mr. Yediyurappa and Vijayendra. His son Vijayendra, no notice has been served by the IT and ED so far. There are serious charges of corruption by him, even though he was not a part of the government. And there are charges of corruption, 40% commission corruption charges by the Contractors Association. CBI has not intervened. CBI has not thought it appropriate to issue notice because it is controlled by the BJP government. And ED thought it appropriate to ignore it. And now other departments like CBI and all do not even think about the corruption charges, so on and so forth, especially because it is pertaining to the BJP legislators and the BJP members. Now the question which arises here is whether BJP is completely clean, and once immediately joining the BJP becomes clean. Is it what the logic my friend is trying to communicate to the general public? If so, then the next question that arises is why there is no disclosure about Rafale in the parliament? Why there is no disclosure about the other PM Cares Fund? Why there is no disclosure about Adani's assets and liabilities, and there is no discussion wanted by the BJP government, especially in the parliament and other debates? Whether the Prime Minister has had a single conference about the people's money which is at risk now in the form of an investment in the Adani? No, BJP do not want to take that chapter at all because it is only concentrating upon other things which are irrelevant. So all that it means is
speaking of the Prime Minister Brijesh Kalappa, just a minute.
Politics.
Okay, then let's get.
Can I report that?
Well, the BJP will say Sir, 1 minute, Dr. Rangappa. We have Brijesh Kalappa there. We have Mr. ML Sharma there also. Let me quickly bring them into the conversation as well. Otherwise, they'll accuse us of forgetting them. Brijesh Kalappa, good evening. Thank you for being patient. We've heard from the Prime Minister today as well about the charges that the opposition often makes about the, about the ED, the CBI agencies being used against the opposition. He's saying the people of India could not unite the opposition, but the ED has managed to unite the people of this the opposition in this country. When you hear this tutu meme between the BJP and the Congress in Karnataka, what's the Aam Aadmi Party's stand, and what's your stand particularly on Mr. DK Shivakumar's daughter's fee being demanded, or accounts of a fee being demanded by the CBI?
First is, Shreya, that as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, the charges in regard to Adani are extremely serious. And I think this kind of riposte in which he says that no, the ED has been able to unite the opposition, it's neither here nor there. It of course sounds good. It's a punch dialogue. Prime Minister Modi has delivered a punch dialogue. But what beyond? What beyond this punch dialogue that he's delivered? Everybody knows that he used to fly on a Adani aircraft between 2014 and 2019. Everybody knows that, when he first went to China in 2015, then Mr. Adani was a major beneficiary of all the pacts that happened in 2015. Everybody knows that when he went to Mongolia, Mr. Adani got some special contracts in Mongolia. Everybody knows that when Adani started the Carmichael Coal Company in regard to the Great Barrier Reef, the resistance was largely quelled thanks to Mr. Modi's intervention with the Australian Prime Minister. Everybody knows that it was a foreign, project. Yet the SBI invested a huge amount of money in Adani. Now, if for the Prime Minister to come and say that, look, I don't know Mr. Adani and so on and so forth, particularly when we all knew that Adani was nowhere in the horizon before Mr. Modi became Chief Minister, and he was nowhere in the world horizon before Mr. Modi became Prime Minister. So it's Mr. Modi's role in taking Adani up, I think is recognized even amongst the BJP supporters. I think even Mr. Rangappa would be honest enough to say that, look, if there is a creation of Mr. Modi, that is Mr. Adani. Now the point is that, but taking down the Indian shareholder along with Mr. Adani, how safe is it? So long as Mr. Adani was winning, it's all right. The shareholders didn't have a problem with it. 86,000 crore of LIC money is stuck in Adani, and also 1 lakh crore of money is stuck in SBI. Now the point is, where is the ED in all of this?
Okay.
Is the ED investigating any of this? Huge amounts of money are being lost to the exchequer. Is the ED investigating Mr. Adani? No. Obviously, why is he not investigating Adani? Why is he only investigating a select few political personalities who are not in union with the Prime Minister? Why? I think the answer is blowing in the winds. Everybody knows that, all this is very rich for the Prime Minister to come and give punch dialogues. But ultimately, everybody must realize that, this na khaunga, na khane dunga was only meant for the opposition. It was not meant for members of his own political party. And people of his own political party, we have seen Mukul Roy. He was completely safe so long as he was in BJP. He was in trouble when he was in TMC. He's yet again in trouble. So the kind of differences a person kind of faces when he is in BJP and outside BJP, I think it's more than writ large, and I think the BJP should not even speak about this. They have absolutely no right to speak about this.
Mr. ML Sharma, if you look at the data that has been compiled by the Indian Express since 2014, it seems that the opposition has a point. What does this data tell us? And this is a special investigation that the Indian Express did in September last year. Their investigation, and they have compiled data for the last 18 years, says that since 2014, there has been a 4-fold jump in ED cases against politicians. So far, so good. But it also says that 95% of these politicians who are being investigated are from the opposition. So the opposition has a point, ML Sharma.
Disbelieve this
do they not?
data that is I have no reason to disbelieve the data that has been compiled. But the fact is that issue is not whether the agencies are being misused. The real fact is not whether the ED is asking for information about the fee of the daughter who's going to school or college. The real fact is, after all, who is complaining? You see, politicians, same politician, when the ruling party, his tone and tenor changes. But when he's in the opposition, then the things are different for him. I have spent 20 years in the CBI and overall about 36 years in the Indian Police Service, various positions. I have seen that politicians have a holier-than-thou approach, and they become too right-centric. The fact remains that a large chunk of a political class has gravely questionable integrity. If an innocent person complains of systems and procedures, or near innocent person complains of that, I can understand his anguish. But one who has tarnished image in the public, I'm not talking about any one individual, but generally, has tarnished image, and there's enough palpable evidence of his acquisition of assets and resources beyond his reasonable, legitimate source of income. These people, in my view, have no moral right to complain. My advice to such politicians would be to follow a system, follow the procedure of law. If some inquiry is being made, fee data is being charged, of course, about investigating agencies also. I mean, I would say that one particular agency, the new one, who has registered 4 times more cases than the last 4 years, you see, its functioning is not yet settled. It's not yet settled, unlike another old agency whose functioning is predictable. ED's functioning is not yet predictable. So therefore, in law, there's something called pith and substance doctrine. In investigation also, there's something like that. You see, the issue that you're inquiring, it should, in a substantive manner, affect the outcome of overall investigation. Only then that line should be followed.
Okay.
So if a daughter is paying a fee of 2 rupees per month in a primary school, it gives a different... Yes.
Can I ask you a quick question? As
So
you
if
complete
daughter
that
is
point,
paying a
sir,
fee of 2 rupees a month...
and I just hope you can keep the answer.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So then this can be ignored. But if the college is a foreign university for 10 years, 20 years, as it happens mostly, then all this data becomes relevant for investigation. So therefore, the perspective has to be correct. And the whole thing has to be seen in correct perspective. By saying all this, I'm not giving a certificate to the investigating agencies, but I'm saying the real question is, who is questioning the modality of the investigating agencies? That's very important. Does he have the moral authority to
and
raise
you are
all
also
these
saying that there can
points?
I understand, and you're also saying there can never be any smoke without fire. So ED and the CBI will not pounce on someone without having anything against them. But I want to ask you a very quick question, sir. I hope you can keep the answer short. The fact is that you have spoken about politicians and their questionable integrity. I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you, Mr. Sharma. But what about the integrity of our investigating agencies? You know, politicians will come and go, individuals will come and go. But look at what has happened in the last 5-6 years. The institutions and the reputation of the CBI, ED, the Narcotics Control Bureau, etc., have been damaged. I don't know if it's beyond repair, but they have opened themselves up to a lot of legitimate criticism.
See, when you're talking of the reputation investigating agencies, basically you're raising 2 issues. One issue is political orientation or political motivation behind investigation. And this is one part. And second, and which is more important part, is the money-making business which some of the officers of these agencies adopted. Frankly speaking, I'm not in a position to give any certificate to anyone. I personally feel that over time, the levels of integrity and levels of neutrality in terms of fiscal integrity and neutrality in terms of political neutrality, they have been diminishing. They are not improving. If 30 years back, somebody were to raise a question, I spent 18 years in the CBI in various positions, 30 years back, somebody raised a question, I'll fight with him. But today, I'm not in a position to challenge anyone who raises questions about the political neutrality or integrity of all the officers. Mostly, officers are good, but कहते हैं ना, एक जल में एक मछली तालाब गंदा कर देती है, ऐसा है, मेरी ऐसी मान्यता है.
एंड शर्मा जी एक और चीज बोलते हैं दैट जब आप समुद्र में है तो मगरमच्छ से बैर नहीं कर सकते, तो शायद मे बी दैट प्लेज आउट एज वेल, दैट इफ यू हैव एन ऑल पावरफुल गवर्नमेंट, ऑफिसर्स हैव नो चॉइस बट टू बेंड टू देयर डिमांड्स. वी लीव इट देयर फॉर द मोमेंट. थैंक यू वेरी मच. देयर इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इलेक्शन कमिंग अप इन Karnataka, which is why you will keep seeing these charges and counter charges being traded. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Rangappa, thank you very much. Sanket Yanagi, thank you very much. ML Sharma ji, thank you very much. And Brijesh Kalappa, good to have you on the show. I'm slipping into a quick break here. There's more coming up on the other side. We're getting you what the Prime Minister has said in Parliament today. Do stay with us.